your state's most watched news starts now.
Good Wednesday morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News where it's 5 o'clock. I'm Michael Hayslip. Coming up this half hour, where you soon may be able to rent out a movie theater all to yourself. And today's, though, is all about honoring those who served in our military. It is, of course, Veterans Day. For our morning talker, want to know if there's a vet that you would like to recognize on the KOM News Now Facebook page. And you can also participate in our Insta Poll. Just go to komnewsnow.com/vote. We're going to start with a chilly Veterans Day morning from the Freeman Health System Sky Camera in Joplin, where right now our temperatures are sitting right at the freezing mark, and we've got a wind chill in effect as it only feels like it's 27. A whole bunch of high 20s, low 30s on the board, 29 in Pittsburgh, 31 in Lamar, 32 in Miami, and I pick on Miami because in northeast Oklahoma, we've got a freeze warning for our counties in purple lasting all the way until 9 a.m. Now, the Skywatch storm tracker as a whole looks entirely clean. Don't even have to worry about cloud cover. That is why we've dipped so low temperature-wise. As far as our weather trend for today, we're going to see about a 30-degree bump here. We'll be back up into the 60s by the time we get into the afternoon hours. Whole bunch of sunshine, so it's going to be a delightful Veterans Day, to say the least. And a little increase on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We've got thunderstorms developing that'll carry us to begin our weekend, clear off on Sunday, and then a little bit of a cold front hitting again there from Sunday into Monday as our overnight lows dip back down into the 30s. The COVID tracking project says Missouri has seen a 12.9% increase in COVID-19 cases over the past 7 days. Joplin has had 548 new cases in the last 14 days. Joplin Health Department officials say as cases continue to climb, they're finding it harder to contact trace and to quickly notify those contacts. They're also trying to reduce a backlog of cases.
The way that channel works, the laboratory runs the test. They will then notify the patient at the same time, and an electronic report goes up to the state of Missouri lab, and then it pings it back down at the local health department level. We have to receive it, log it in, make the actual calls.
The health department is asking anyone who tests positive to stay home and for everyone to continue practicing safety measures. Joplin School District has started the process for spring enrollment for virtual and in-person classes. Parents will be able to go online and register for either option for the spring semester. That starts in January. Officials say students who are enrolled in virtual classes now and want to remain virtual will need to re-enroll for that option. However, students currently enrolled in virtual classes that wish to return in-person learning do not have to fill out the form. USD 250 in Pittsburgh will be pushing back the start of its second semester. Just one day, though. District's Board of Education voted last night to move the start of the semester from Monday, January 4th to Tuesday, January 5th. So that Monday that was going to be off for everybody, well, it's now going to be used as a work day for teachers to get ready for returning students. A tragedy in Leavenworth County, Kansas. Monday night, volunteer firefighter Johnny Iverson Jr. was killed on the way to a call. He leaves behind a wife and 2 little boys. Betsy Webster talked to someone close, and she has more.
Scott Bowen owns 2 franchises of an auto service company called Grease Monkey. Johnny Iverson Jr. worked part-time for him.
I was in the Army for 12 years, been around a lot of situations and deaths and stuff, but this one really hit home for me.
Just 23 years old, Iverson supported a wife and 2 little boys, working 2 jobs, full-time as an equipment operator at KDOT for the past 3 years, and part-time at Bowen's business at the start of this year.
That last snowstorm, he worked like a 16-hour shift and still was trying to come into work and then go right back to the Department of Transportation afterwards. And of course, we told him no, go home and get some sleep, but that's just the kind of guy he was.
His role with the Easton Township Fire Department was as a volunteer firefighter. No pay, no pension, just a love for the work, providing a service to his community.
He was going to help somebody else and got his own life taken.
I checked with the National Fire Protection Association to get some perspective about line-of-duty deaths. In 2019, nationwide, 48 firefighters died in the line of duty. 25 of them, more than half, were volunteer firefighters. 13 died fighting fires. 9 died on the way to or from fire calls. All of those 9 were volunteer firefighters. Bowen set up a Facebook fundraiser for Iveson's family. Within just the first 6 hours, he raised $3,000 from people all over the nation.
He's just a good kid and always there to help. You know, selfless service. One of the Army core values. That's one of the things comes to my mind whenever I think about him.
Facebook fundraiser has already raised around $6,000, and we have a link to that page on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Family Video in Pittsburgh closing its doors. The store on North Broadway has begun its liquidation, selling off everything for discounted prices. Officials say the store will be officially closed by the end of the year. The company, though, continues to operate 250 stores across the Midwest. Time now to take a look at our day planner, as temperatures are going to be delightful today, up into the 60s, despite the fact that we've got freeze warnings down to the south right now. Here's what Future Track has in store. Nice little bump up, not going to be very blustery or windy. And the nice thing is overnight from Wednesday into Thursday, we're able to stay high 30s, low 40s. We won't have any of those freeze warnings reemerge. A little bit warmer even on Thursday. Sun continues to come down, make it up into the mid 60s. And next shot for thunderstorm activity is going to be from Friday into Saturday. That is a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up next on the KOAM Morning News, a very special thank you.
A student at Northeast Vernon County School shares what Veterans Day means to her and why it's so personal. I'm Kate Kelly with her story just ahead.
Plus, we take a look at a new COVID home testing kit developed in the Sooner State and how you can own a piece of movie history. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll have more real news in the morning when we're right back.
Mr. Christmas delivers holiday makeovers and the SWAT team takes on race relations. Chris Martinez has your Eye on Entertainment report.
SWAT returns tonight with a 2-hour season premiere. The first of 2 back-to-back episodes features Hondo, his father, and his teen mentee confronting the history of racial tension in Los Angeles.
Didn't you tell me if I want things to change, be the change?
And? What have we seen change, son, huh?
In the second episode, the SWAT team acts as a domestic surveillance unit for the CIA to confirm whether an international crime lord has resurfaced in LA. Catch SWAT tonight on CBS. Interior designer Benjamin Bradley delivers cheer in the Netflix series Holiday Home Makeover with Mr. Christmas.
Decorating for the holidays is about so much more than just hanging the same old lights and ornaments.
Watch Mr. Christmas and his team of elves, armed with tons of tinsel and lots of lights, deck the halls of special families and communities. The 4-episode series Holiday Home Makeover with Mr. Christmas streams November 18th on Netflix. And the fate of the world hangs in the balance when an all-powerful AI decides to study the most average woman on Earth in the film Superintelligence.
I plan on spending these next 3 days hanging out with you.
Melissa McCarthy plays Carol Peters, a woman obsessed with James Corden, the voice of the Superintelligence. It's up to Carol to prove people are worth saving. Superintelligence streams on HBO Max on Thanksgiving. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, struggling movie theater operator AMC launches its private theater rentals. This following a 4-week beta test that resulted in an unprecedented response of 110,000 guest inquiries. AMC's private theater rentals start at $99 plus tax and offers a selection of 17 films, including Jurassic Park and The Nightmare Before Christmas. Recent releases such as Tenet, The War with Grandpa, and Freaky are available at higher prices, ranging from $149 to $349 plus tax, depending on location. An iconic piece of movie and pop culture history is going to auction. Just 1 week after the death of actor Sean Connery, Hollywood's Julian Auctions announces its top item up for bid: the iconic 007 gun used by Connery himself in the first James Bond movie. Semi-automatic Walther PP handgun used in Dr. No is expected to sell for up to $200,000 at auction. Estimated to outsell other top auction items such as Tom Cruise's helmet from Top Gun and one of the former First Lady Michelle Obama's dresses. Well, since first appearing on screen in 1962, the pistol has become synonymous with movie franchise's logo. Well, the next generation of video gaming is here. Microsoft launched its anticipated Xbox Series X on Tuesday. Console comes with a price tag of $499, which is the same as its previous generation Xbox One. Gamers willing to give up a drive to play disc-based games can opt for the Xbox Series S at a price point that is $200 lower. Sony is slated to launch its next generation console, the PlayStation 5, later this week. Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, violent protests break out in Peru after the country's president is removed from office. We'll have the latest, plus a check of the 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Weather on the 7s on this Veterans Day morning, and it is a chilly one outside from the Freeman Health System Sky Camera in Joplin. Sitting right at the freezing mark of 32 degrees, only feels though like it's 27. These are actual temperatures, not wind chills. 29 in Pittsburgh, 28 in Chanute, 32 in Neosho, and in northeast Oklahoma, Miami also sits at 32. In Miami, Grove, J, Veneta, etc. That's where we find our freeze warnings lasting all the way until 9 a.m. Now you may ask, well, what about southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri? Why are they not? Well, remember, this comes out of a different National Weather Service location than what we see up here. Portions of southeast Kansas come out of Wichita. Central southwest Missouri comes out of Springfield. And then we've got Tulsa down here in northeast Oklahoma. So different offices are going to issue different watches and warnings depending on geography, time of year, etc. And so that's why we just see them in northeast Oklahoma. It's cold though, no matter where you go. You can't escape that. Very clear Skywatch storm tracker, no cloud cover, no precipitation as the cold front is now penetrated all the way through central Arkansas. Let's go ahead and check out Tropical Storm Ada while we're at it. Yesterday came back down here, battered the west coast of Cuba. Now back toward Florida it goes. Another day of torrential rainfall all along the Florida coastline. And we've got a new track as far as making landfall. This was pretty much the one we had last week. Then over the weekend, it wanted to come this way. Now we're talking about going back this way. Lost its steering mechanism down there in the Gulf Coast when it doubled back on itself. It does have the chance to become Category 1 there before it makes landfall again. Now we're looking at Thursday right along the coast, just a little bit south there of the Panhandle compared to what the other tracks had it located at. So as we progress through our Veterans Day, we're actually going to see about a 30-degree bump. It's not going to be too bad this afternoon. Just got to get out of the freezing cold here, and the sunshine will do a good job, heat us up into the high 50s, even low 60s here. Breeze is going to come in from the northeast, just 5 to 10 miles per hour. Not going to be one of those blustery ones that we're going to have to tolerate. Here's what Future Track has in store. After, like I said, plenty of sunshine today. Overnight lows, this is going to be nice in between Wednesday and Thursday because we're only going to see low 30s, or high 30s, low 40s. We'll stay out of that freeze zone right there. And then on Thursday, even a little bit warmer. We'll go mid 60s there on Thursday. Now, what we're looking at thunderstorm-wise is going to be from Friday into Saturday. Friday's a little bit cooler. And then Friday afternoon, that's when that thunderstorm activity wants to develop and carry us into what's looking like setting up to be a little bit of a wet Saturday. Then by Sunday, able to kick those chances out and actually finish the weekend in fine fashion. A little bit of a secondary cold front drops in between Sunday and Monday. You notice those temperatures back down in the mid-30s for overnight lows. Time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Facebook page, and with it being Veterans Day, COVID-19 changing the way many four-state events are held this year. Students at Northeast Vernon County High School, they came up with a new safe way to show their appreciation for our nation's heroes. They recorded digital thank yous. Students also performed research on Veterans Day, put together a special program that they've shared online. Now, it's not their usual big ceremony, but this display just as important for these patriotic kids. Excellent job up there. Well, now, one of those virtual thank yous comes from 7th grader Angel Burnside. KOAM's Kate Kelly shares what Veterans Day and what sacrifice means to Angel and why.
I want to thank all the veterans who risk their lives, not just for mine, but for the whole USA. And I want to thank my dad, Antonio Carlos Burnside.
A personal thank you from daughter to father in honor of Army Corporal Burnside, who was killed in action when insurgents attacked his unit in Afghanistan.
He died at the age of 31, had 4 kids. One of them were me.
Angel's memories of her father come from the stories her mother shares. She was just a little girl when it happened, but even then her ties to her dad went deeper than most would understand. She says she knew the moment he was gone.
Before the men can even go to my mom, I started crying, and my aunt called my mom saying, "Angel's crying, do you know why?" And I said, "My daddy died." And when they got there, my mom's like, "Oh, my little girl already told me."
It's been hard growing up without him. She leans on her siblings and her mom when it feels overwhelming.
She just says, "Just keep him in your heart forever."
That's just what she intends to do. She's proud of her classmates for stepping up to say thank you to the brave soldiers like her dad.
I would like to thank veterans for allowing me to live a peaceful life.
I would like to thank veterans for keeping us safe.
Angel says she wants people to know that our soldiers are people just like us. They're sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers. They just happen to be heroes, too.
Veterans are very, very brave for fighting for us and for our freedom.
In Walker, Missouri, Kate Kelly, KOAM News.
Those students' thank yous are going to play at the end of the school day today, and we're going to be airing them all morning long right here on KOAM as well. Our question to you, is there a veteran you would like to recognize in your life? Let us know on the KOAM News Now Facebook page, or take part in our Insta Poll. Go to KOAMNewsNow.com/vote. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, an Oklahoma City startup is now providing at-home COVID tests. Kaylee Burgo checked it out and talked to the company's CEO to see how it works.
This is the kit. It comes in a small box. Inside that, you'll have, of course, directions, overnight shipping, and a vial for your saliva.
This is the image typically associated with COVID-19 tests, a trip to the doctor and a large Q-tip to the noggin. But the folks at OKC's Wheeler Labs say this is the test of the future.
But essentially what it is an at-home saliva test kit.
Earlier in the pandemic, officials warned about fake at-home tests, but Wheeler Labs, located at OU's Research Park, developed a method they label as FDA approved.
But basically, it's just a saliva collection, and you're bringing your mouth close to the top, and you're spitting into the tube, and you fill it to the lawn.
After collecting the sample, the user puts it in the FedEx slip and overnights it to the labs in OKC, where it's quickly processed by experts.
When we receive samples in the lab in the morning around 10 or 11, we're generally able to do same-day turnaround of results.
CEO Dr. Jesse Mccall says his customers are individuals, companies, and clinics. The cost for one test is $125.
We are starting to get orders from Massachusetts and coastal states as well.
But Dr. Mccall says this is necessary for Oklahoma now more than ever before as cases spike.
The epidemiologists tell us testing is crucial to controlling the spread.
As far as how the process goes, if you've ever taken one of those at-home DNA tests like 23andMe or Ancestry, very similar to that.
A new video demonstrates why masks with exhalation valves do not slow the spread of COVID-19. Researchers from the National Institute of Standards and Technology created these videos and say when viewed side by side, it's easy to see how the valves allow air to leave the mask without filtration. If you're feeling alone, it might have something to do with your age. California researchers found levels of loneliness are highest in a person's 20s due to stress over finding a partner and excelling in one's career. There was also a spike for people in their 40s as they began to experience health issues. People in their 60s reported the least amount of loneliness. A common myth that birth control is associated with depression has been debunked by a Northwestern medicine study. Researchers found the pill and other hormonal contraceptives will not trigger sad or suicidal thoughts. But they note that the mental and physical stress of an unintended pregnancy could trigger new depression, including postpartum depression. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
We'll get a nice little bump up temperature-wise. Just going to take a little bit. We've got freeze warnings in northeast Oklahoma right now lasting until 9 a.m. Whole bunch of communities either in the high 20s or right at the freezing mark. And we've seen some wind chills as low as 25 degrees. So bundle up as they take out the door. Now after sunrise at 6:49, even though it's going to be a little sunny and cool morning, we'll eventually get up into the high 50s, low 60s this afternoon. So like I said, it'll be a gorgeous middle of the day to our Veterans Day. A little bit warmer on Thursday as we'll go mid-60s. Next shot for thunderstorm activity develops Friday afternoon. Takes us into Saturday. More KOAM morning news right after this.
I'd like to thank you veterans for always protecting me.
Why the Joplin Health Department is having trouble with contact tracing. Plus, what you need to know about spring enrollment for the Joplin School District. And it's Veterans Day, how the 4 states are honoring our nation's heroes.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. Coming up this half hour, our something to talk about this morning is about Veterans Day. We're inviting you to recognize a veteran in your life. And for our Insta Poll, we're asking how many of your close relatives served in the military. All you have to do is visit KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. But first, a check on your forecast.
Chilly start to Veterans Day. Freeman Health System sky camera in Joplin, right at the freezing mark, and a wind chill of only 27 degrees. 29 in Pittsburgh, 32 in Monette. 34 in Welch, and down in northeast Oklahoma is also where we see counties in purple indicating a freeze warning lasting until 9 o'clock this morning. As far as the Skywatch storm tracker goes, clear as a bell outside. Lost that cloud cover from yesterday, which is why it got so cold overnight. So make sure they're bundled up on the way to the class today. And nice thing is we'll eventually rebound here. But for the time being, we're going to be hard pressed to get to 40 degrees here by 9 a.m. as the cold front has now penetrated all the way through central Arkansas. But eventually, later this afternoon, about a 25 to 30 degree warm up, as we'll have temperatures in the high 50s, low 60s. And then as we wrap up our Veterans Day and push toward Thursday, overnight temperatures able to stay well above the freezing mark. And tomorrow, well, throw some mid-60s up on the board. That won't be too bad at all. Thunderstorm activity developing Friday afternoon, carry us into Saturday. Weekend temperatures not too bad, just a wet one on Saturday. Sunday looking delightful, high of 63, followed by late night cold front from Sunday into Monday. Overnight lows back to the 30s.
If we can get rid of that rain on Saturday, it would be a nice day.
Yeah, sorry.
Maybe just in the morning?
Sorry.
Just in the evening?
Nah.
Just all day long?
It'll carry into the afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm doing.
I
know.
Mother Nature does too, evidently.
Apparently so. But the temperatures are not looking bad,
let everybody
so I'll
know.
take that.
Let everybody know.
I'm camping. Yes. I wait until November 14th to go camping.
Just like a normal person.
And I'm taking 2 little kids with me too.
Yeah.
Make it even more miserable. In the rain. It'll be fun though. It'll be fun.
No, you guys have a great time.
All right, thanks, Michael. Well, the COVID tracking project says Missouri has seen a 12.9% increase in COVID-19 cases over the past 7 days. Joplin has had 548 new cases in the last 14 days. Joplin Health Department officials say as cases continue to climb, they're finding it harder to contact trace and to quickly notify contacts. They're trying to reduce a backlog of cases. The Joplin School District has started the process for spring enrollment for virtual and in-person classes. Parents will be able to go online and register for either option for the spring semester, which starts in January. Officials say students who are enrolled in virtual classes now and wanting to remain virtual will need to re-enroll for that option. According to the district, 300 of the 1,400 students enrolled for virtual learning now have re-enrolled for next spring.
So really we have to wait and see what those enrollment numbers do. If our virtual enrollment spikes, we're going to have to make sure we support that appropriately. If we have a lot of students who want to come back, we're going to have to make sure that we support the classroom appropriately too.
Well, Mwangi says virtual learning is something the district will continue to offer even after COVID, and we've placed a link to the enrollment form on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, USD 250 also announced a new partnership with the city of Pittsburgh to provide a private 4G LTE network to families in need. The network, called DragonNet, will give internet access for education purposes to around 500 students at no cost. The district is receiving more than $1 million in state grants to set up antennas throughout Pittsburgh for the network. Officials expect DragonNet to be up and running by the end of the year. Well, voters in Ottawa County elected 2 new leaders, both of them promising change. KOAM's Zach Dodge has how the two plan to make it happen after they take position in January.
I believe that the citizens of this county spoke, and they're wanting something different.
Change. That's what Ottawa County residents made clear they want after electing 2 new county officials, David Dean as sheriff and Stephen Chastain as District 2 Commissioner.
We're willing to work our butts off to give it to them.
Residents have been pushing for transparency from the county for at least a year after a fire closed the jail for months and budget cuts left the county with half a dozen deputies in 2019. At the time, Sheriff Floyd says it was because of a lack in funding, but commissioners didn't agree.
We worked hard to help the previous sheriff with his budget and finding extra dollars, encouraged him to do certain things, and he had some success at it.
When you have 2 very important parts of our local government obviously not communicating and obviously not working together, but yet they're all still spending our money and kind of making a mockery of each other, it's not acceptable to any of us.
David Dean wants to see some big changes, saying as a resident of Ottawa County, he sees firsthand the need to get more deputies on the roads and secure the jail, even if he has to get creative to make it happen.
County sheriffs are broke. Jails everywhere aren't in the greatest shape, but everybody seems to be able to work it.
Something that Commissioner Earls agrees with.
One of the things that needs to happen is it needs to be ran more like a business. We need to have a person in there running that jail, and that's all they do.
Chastain's plans extend past that. He's promising to improve roads and increase overall transparency and communication to give residents the change they want.
This community deserves to be represented by people that understand that they are the CEOs of this county, not those that are elected.
In Ottawa County, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
Chastain and Earls will both take office in January. COVID-19 is altering the way many veteran events are being held this year, and that includes Pitt State's annual Veterans Day program. Like Memorial Day, earlier this year, organizers are making it a virtual celebration. The program will begin today at 11 a.m., the same time the armistice was signed, ending World War I. This year's program will highlight veterans from a variety of different wars and military branches. You can catch it on a number of locations online, and you can see them on your screen, pittstate.tv, YouTube, and PSU Veterans Memorial Facebook page. Or if you're able to get the college's channel Caps 13, you can even watch it on your television. Lots of options. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Veteran Jim Heisler has honored his fallen comrades every day since Memorial Day. We'll have his story and how it's moved his family and neighbors. Plus, the latest after a Vatican report reveals Pope John Paul II knew about the sexual assault allegations against U.S. Cardinals. First, it's 5:37.
Not much of a bump on the graph, but much better than what we're having this morning. We'll go from the freezing point all the way up into the high 50s with a little east breeze. Be back with World Watch, but first, this thank you on Veterans Day.
Many veterans have sacrificed their mental as well as physical health for this country. Thank you, veterans.
Topping World Watch, the Vatican admits Pope John Paul II was warned about repeated sexual misconduct allegations against ex-U.S. Cardinal Theodore McCarrick, but chose to promote him anyway. Chris Livesay has the story from Rome.
The Vatican report into Theodore McCarrick, once an advisor to popes, and his years of sexually abusing both minors and adult seminarians revealed damning details. John Paul II, the Pope who made McCarrick both a cardinal and the Archbishop of Washington, D.C., knew about the allegations but ignored them, instead taking McCarrick for his word. Pope Benedict XVI eventually took them more seriously, but not enough to remove him from ministry, the report says. It goes on to exonerate Pope Francis, who finally defrocked McCarrick last year. But the abuse had been going on for decades. James Grine, pictured here as a boy with McCarrick, says he was first abused by McCarrick in 1969 and that he personally told John Paul II in 1988, but the pontiff did nothing.
What's an ideal outcome for you?
A complete investigation, a statement stating that we knew about McCarrick. That's why we had to get rid of him, and that we apologize.
The report, which is more than 400 pages long, is sending shockwaves around the Catholic world, as well as raising questions about McCarrick's most powerful patron, Pope John Paul II, who overlooked these allegations, yet went on to become a saint.
McCarrick was expelled from the Roman Catholic priesthood in 2019 after a church trial found him guilty of sexual abuse against minors and adults. A separate report reveals shocking allegations of sexual abuse against the Catholic Church of England and Wales. According to reports from the Independent Inquiry into Child Sexual Abuse, more than 900 allegations were filed from 1970 to 2015. Roughly 2,000 survivors say church officials did not respond correctly, failing to put an end to the vicious cycle of priests, volunteers, and others hurting children. The swearing in of a new president brought clashes between protesters and police in Peru. The demonstrators tried to take their protest to the doors of Congress in Lima, where Manuel Merino was sworn in on Tuesday. The violence followed an impeachment vote by lawmakers on Monday, which removed former President Martin Vizcarra. The removal was met with anger by the protesters. Demonstrators called the dismissal a coup in disguise. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Let's toss it over to Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Tanya. This morning on the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta Poll honoring those who have served our country on this Veterans Day. The observance comes on the anniversary of the end of World War I, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918. Originally called Armistice Day, but broadened to Veterans Day in 1954. Our question to you is, who would you like to recognize in your life that's a veteran? We'll start with Melissa McKinney and a picture of Tri Palmer right there. And thank you for all sending in these pictures. They're absolutely wonderful. This is Michelle Pacini's father, Edward Milburn. He says, not a day goes by you're not in my thoughts. December 7, 1936 to November 1, 2003. United States Air Force, United States Navy, and Vietnam. Michelle says, thank you to all who have served, along with my amazing son and wonderful husband. Dave Sorek would like to recognize his father, Don Sorek. Gone but not forgotten, he says. And Sherry has my dad, Daniel E. Marsh Sr. Mr. Marsh was a veteran during the Vietnam War. Kenny Kimmel, who is a veteran, and he says, being a veteran myself, I'd like to pay tribute to all who came before me, all who have carried the honor since, and all of the incredibly brave men and women who are putting themselves on that wall now so we can all sleep at night. Christopher Moore, his son Trenton Moore in Erie, keeping the family tradition going and joining the band of brothers and sisters. Absolutely fabulous. As far as our Insta poll this morning, asking how many military veterans do you have in your immediate family? Right now, it's 2. You should have multiples right there. And you can take part in our Insta poll all morning long. Just go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. We'll have more KOAM morning news. But first, another veteran thank you from the students at Northeast Vernon County High School.
I would like to thank the veterans for fighting for us and making this country a better place.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. More than a week after Election Day, President Trump is still refusing to concede the 2020 race for the White House. The president's legal team continues to pursue claims of widespread voter fraud in courts around the country. President-elect Joe Biden called that effort, quote, an embarrassment, but said the president's actions would not affect the transition. Statewide, Kansas has reported another record 7-day spike in COVID-19 cases. The state health department Monday added 5,920 new confirmed and probable cases. The state averaged 2,047 new cases per day for the 7 days ending yesterday, and that brings the state's total to 103,553 since the pandemic began. The COVID tracking project says Missouri has seen 12.9% increase in COVID-19 cases over the past 7 days. Joplin has had 548 new cases in the last 14 days. Joplin Health Department officials say as cases continue to climb, they're finding it harder to contact trace and to quickly notify contacts. They're trying to reduce a backlog of cases. COVID-19 is changing the way many veterans events are being held this year. Students at Northeast Vernon County School came up with a new, safe way to show their appreciation for our nation's heroes, recording digital thank yous. The students also performed research on Veterans Day, putting together a special program they've shared online. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Waking up with freeze warnings on a Veterans Day morning, lasting until 9 a.m. for our counties in purple. Now, eventually, we'll be able to make it up into the high 50s, even low 60s. So let that sunshine kick in, and a happy Veterans Day to all. No worries about thunderstorms until Friday evening. We'll be back right after this. On the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning poll asking if there are veterans in your life that you would like to recognize. Rick Norton says, too many to count. I will just say thank you to all the veterans in my family, all in your families, and every veteran in this great nation, past, present, and future. God bless you all. Phyllis Aplotnik King, she recognizes her husband, Major Robert E. King, Jr., who passed away on July 4th. Karen Wheeler, this is her dad, Lewis Tomlin Sr., from 1924 to 1993. A World War II veteran, as Karen says, and many other family members and countless friends. Jody Buckle recognizes Jerry Buckle of the United States Navy. And I wanted to go one more right here. Guy Hansen wants to recognize his brother Bruce Hansen, a veteran of the Vietnam War. He was blessed to see no serious action and said that he loved the Vietnamese people and thought it was a beautiful country. Guy says, I honor and support all of our veterans and have to say that in my lifetime, I've seen no other president honor our veterans more than President Trump. Guy is a veteran as well. And I feel a little socialist today, so where's all the free stuff? Guy, thank you very much for that. And thank you for your service, sir. All right, as far as our Insta Poll goes this morning, asking how many military veterans do you have in your immediate family, 32% of you have more than one. It's 2, it being the popular number right now. And you can take part in it. Go to komnewsnow.com/vote and take this time for me to say thank you to all of you viewers there. I know we have a number of veterans who watch the KOAM Morning News, and we appreciate and thank you for your service. Not only for today to recognize that, we should do that as often as we can. Every night the notes of taps ring out over a lake in Illinois as a veteran honors other veterans. His nightly ritual, though, is about to end its run. Here's Will Jones.
I've done it every day, every sunset since Memorial Day evening.
He's played in all kinds of weather. Nothing has stopped him. Hasn't missed a night.
A moving tribute each night at Crystal Lake to honor our nation's veterans.
He was afraid the neighbors would be offended and make too much noise.
It turns out Jim Heisler's nightly gesture in his yard was just what his neighbors needed. Richard Kerman and his wife Beverly have walked over almost every single day.
I'm a veteran. Taps has always been one of my favorite things. It's something that's been very important in my life, and it makes me feel good.
It just makes the day better, and especially with COVID and the election, we always knew we'd have this moment of peace for the day.
Yeah, I've had people call me, write me notes and letters from that I don't even know.
His wife, Rebecca Heisler, is always by his side, counting down the time until sunset.
In this turbulent times that we have, it's really nice to be able to spread some positivity and some good feelings. I can't keep from being choked up because typically every night I am choked up while he's playing. It's such a small thing, but it makes such a statement.
it's not just so many notes, it has a meaning.
We will miss it. So maybe he'll do it again next year.
Heisler plans to keep playing taps through sundown tonight. And it's sure to be an emotional final night for the Heislers and their neighbors. We'll have more KOAM morning news for you, but first, a Veterans Day thank you from the students of Northeast Vernon County High School.
Thank you, veterans, for your service. America wouldn't be what it is today without you.
Be able to ditch the freeze warnings here around 9 a.m. Those warnings in effect right now for northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas. After sunrise at 6:49, still going to be hard pressed to get to about 40 degrees by 9. But around noon, finally pushing over the 50-degree mark, and we'll see some low 60s even later on this afternoon. So Veterans Day afternoon is going to be delightful. Just got to get through the chilly morning. A little bit warmer tomorrow. Thunderstorms from Friday night into Saturday.
Why the Joplin Health Department is having trouble with contact tracing. Plus, what you need to know about spring enrollment for the Joplin School District. And it's Veterans Day, how the 4 states are honoring our nation's heroes.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. Coming up this half hour, we'll get a preview of Pitt State's annual Veterans Day program. And Veterans Day is also the subject of our Something to Talk About. Let us know if there's a vet in your life who you would like to recognize. You can also participate in our Insta Poll at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. But first, a check on your forecast.
And a happy Veterans Day to all who have served, as we say a big thank you on this Wednesday morning. A Wednesday morning with a chill in the air, 33 degrees from the Freeman Health System Sky Camera in Joplin, just inching above the freezing mark, 29 in Pittsburgh, 31 in Oswego, 26 in both Fort Scott and Nevada. That has led to freeze warnings in northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas. Even if your county's not in purple, it's a cold one. It's clear though, and we're going to have plenty of sunshine after it rises here, officially on the bus stop forecast at 6:49. Clear and cold for the most part. Probably won't even see 40 degrees here by the 9 o'clock hour, barely above 50 at noon. But then by the time we settle in here in the afternoon, we're going to go high 50s, low 60s. So really after we get up into the 40s, we'll keep on rising. It'll be a delightful afternoon. Thursday, we're looking at mild temperatures around 63, and then Friday evening, thunderstorm activity carries us into Saturday.
All right.
I mean, all things considered, despite the fact that we're sitting below the freezing mark in a number of areas right now, Veterans Day afternoon is going to be great.
Yeah, it should turn out to be a really nice day. We'll take that.
I'm changing this on air right now. Boom. How about that?
Sunny. I like it. We'll take it. All right, thanks, Michael. The Jasper County Health Department reports 2 more COVID-19 deaths. The patients were both men. One was in his 70s, the other in his 80s. The 2 deaths bring the county's total to 64. City of Joplin's also reporting 2 more COVID-19 deaths, bringing the city's total to 42. The patients were both men, 80 and 97 years old. COVID-19 cases continue to climb in parts of the 4 states. Jasper County reports 355 active COVID-19 cases. Joplin reports 293. In Crawford County, health officials report 209 active cases, 104 in Cherokee County, and in Ottawa County, Oklahoma, there's 136 active cases. Statewide, Kansas has reported another record 7-day spike in COVID-19 cases. The state health department on Monday added 5,920 new confirmed and probable cases. The state averaged 2,047 new cases per day for the 7 days ending yesterday, and that brings the state's total to 103,553 since the pandemic began. Governor Laura Kelly's staff, legislative leaders, and local officials launched discussions about encouraging mask use before last week's elections. There's still resistance to mask mandates from many local officials and the state legislature. As COVID-19 cases continue to rise in Joplin and across Missouri, local health departments are having a hard time keeping pace with contact tracing. KOAM's Caitlin Shives spoke with the Joplin Health Department.
According to the COVID tracking project, in Missouri, there has been a 12.9% increase in COVID-19 cases over the past 7 days. In Joplin, there have been 548 cases in the last 14 days, with 293 current active cases.
We've been at high points in the past. We are currently at a new high point.
With the increase of cases in the area, Joplin health officials are having a hard time with contact tracing.
It makes it more and more challenging to get those investigated on the same day.
Joplin Health Department officials say that as cases continue to climb, they are feeling stressed when it comes to contacting everyone in a quick manner.
As far as being overwhelmed, we are a bit stressed in being able to investigate all of the cases. We do have a backlog right now of cases. We are working on a plan to alleviate that.
Tolkien says that typically when patients test positive for COVID-19, they will know of their results before it even reaches the health department, a process that slows down their efforts with contact tracing.
The way that channel works, the laboratory runs the test. They will then notify the patient at the same time, and an electronic report goes up to the state of Missouri lab, and then it pings it back down at the local health department level. We have to receive it, log it in, make the actual calls.
In Joplin, Caitlin Shive, KOAM News.
Joplin Health Department is asking everyone who tests positive to stay home and for everyone to continue safety precautions. Joplin School District has started the process for spring enrollment for virtual and in-person classes. Parents will be able to go online and register for either option for the spring semester, which starts in January. Officials say students who are enrolled in virtual classes now and wanting to remain virtual will need to re-enroll for that option. However, students currently enrolled in virtual who wish to return to in-person learning do not have to fill out the form.
So our enrollment is open from now until November 30th. And really the reason for that is so we have time to plan in December before we come back in January. So that timeline is really crucial. While it seems a little early, it actually still puts us in a pretty tight window to get stuff ready for January.
We'll have a link to the enrollment form in this story on our website. COVID-19 is altering the way many veteran events are being held this year, and that includes Pitt State's annual Veterans Day program. Like Memorial Day earlier this year, organizers are making it a virtual celebration. The program will begin today at 11 a.m., the same time the armistice was signed ending World War I. This year's program will highlight veterans from a variety of different wars and military branches. You can catch it on a number of locations online. You can see them on your screen, pittstate.tv, YouTube, and PSU Veterans Memorial Facebook page. Or if you're able to get the college's channel CAPS 13, you can even watch it on your television. Jasper County Sheriff's Office introduced a new recruit, a canine named Arner. Arvest Foundation donated $7,000 to the Sheriff's Office to buy Arner. Arner's named after Sergeant and Canine Officer Scott Arner, who passed away in the line of duty in 2002.
One that's able to do PR events and chase bad guys at the same time. It's kind of a unique combination of things. One that's able to sniff out drugs and sniff out illegal narcotics. That's one of the mandates as well.
Arner will remain off duty for another 6 weeks as he goes through certification. The Arvest Foundation also donated another $7,000 to the city of Carthage for a thermal imaging camera on a patrol car. Welcome to the team, Arner. 6:07.
If you go outside and look to the east, find the moon, then drop down below the moon. Venus is just bright as can be right now. And then if you continue down toward the horizon, you'll get a great shot of Mercury as well. That's how clear our sky is on this Veterans Day morning. So once again, it's Venus right below the moon and then Mercury down toward the horizon. That being said, we've got freeze warnings lasting till 9 a.m. as our temperatures are below the freezing mark. We've seen wind chills as low as 25 degrees, 7-day forecast. Get a little sunshine. Afternoon's going to be delightful. Work up in the high 50s, low 60s. and plenty of sunshine. I've been entranced by Venus outside.
I'll have to go check it out.
It is gorgeous.
Sounds like it's pretty. Well, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, our own Jesse Irwin has more on Pitt State's Veterans Day ceremony.
Yeah, we're here at PSU at the Veterans Memorial where we're kicking off Veterans Day. We're going to have a conversation with Captain Eric Leone. We'll be with you coming up.
Plus, Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt addresses the state's rising COVID-19 cases and why scientists say coral reefs surrounding the U.S. are deteriorating. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. First, a word of thanks from Northeast Vernon County School.
I would like to thank veterans for letting us do simple things every day, such as going to church and school freely and safely.
In Money Watch this morning, Wall Street was mixed on Tuesday. The Dow added 262 points. The Nasdaq lost 159. S&P 500 fell 4. The move away from tech stocks that benefited during the pandemic continued for a second day. Amazon, Apple, and others were lower, while the blue chips that should benefit from a recovery moved higher. Well, some Ring doorbells are under recall. The second-generation smart doorbell can overheat if the wrong screws are used to install it. The problem has led to at least 23 incidents of the doorbell igniting and resulting in property damage and 8 reports of minor burns. About 350,000 were sold in stores and through Amazon and Ring.com between June and October. There may be just 2% of the coral reefs around Florida remaining, and that's according to a new study from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and the University of Maryland. The first of its kind report says human activity and climate change are mostly to blame for the deteriorating of reefs around the U.S. and its territories. NOAA says coral reefs have an economic impact of more than $3 billion annually. That's thanks to industries like tourism and fishing. Reefs can also be a natural barrier to storm surges during hurricanes. That's it for Money Watch. Here's Michael with today's Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Tanya. Veterans Day, and our question, is there a veteran in your family? You got one of your friends that you'd like to recognize? And I greatly appreciate the engagement and the wonderful pictures that we have coming in. Kim Jones, these are Kim's 2 sons. Been through 8 deployments so far, 4 for each of them. Kim is a proud Army mom. Thank you, Kim. Sheila Bach-Bradley, this is her husband. First Sergeant Stephen Bradley, who served in Iraq in 2003 and Afghanistan in 2010, just retired in September. Congratulations, Sergeant, after serving 36 years. Kelly Greenwood Fowler, that is a picture that she sent in honoring her veteran. We've also got Robert Dopp, who would like to honor his dad, Daniel Robert Lee Dopp, a veteran of the Korean War. And we've got Rocky Cunningham with a nice picture for those who served. There's one, here it is. Here's the one I was looking for. Chris Osgood Miller. His brother, Neil Osgood, who served in Germany, and his cousin, Thad Osgood, who served in Vietnam. Thank you all so much. As far as our Insta Poll goes, you go to komnewsnow.com/vote. We've got 30% saying 2 immediate family members that are veterans. I was amazed at this one right here. Look at that. 15% have 5 or more that have served. We'll be back. We're going to take a look at weather. But first, a veteran thank you from the students of Northeast Vernon County High School.
Thank you, veterans, for giving up everything in your lives for the sake of our freedom.
Time for a little weather on the 7s on this Veterans Day morning. We're going to try to pull this off live on air, get our bearings here outside of Television City, shifted it just a little bit to the south. Of course, there's Old Glory. That's kind of where we pay attention to the wind. Now, as we transition up, okay, there's your shot of the moon right there. Now, drop down from the moon, and right there is Venus. And the camera doesn't do it justice, trust me. So find the moon right there, drop down. Great shot of Venus. Mercury's getting harder to find here as the sky gets lighter. May have a better shot at that tomorrow because we'll still have clear skies, but I just wanted to point that out. Just real cool, astronomically. Freeman Health System sky camera, cold one right now, 33 degrees with a wind chill of 28. whole bunch of people below the freezing mark. That leads to freeze warnings in northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas. Don't worry though, we're going to have a 25, 30 degree bump up, high 50s, low 60s, sunshine today, warmer tomorrow. And then Friday evening into Saturday morning, we begin thunderstorm activity. Now, with it being Veterans Day, around the 4 states, celebrations are taking place both in person and online. And this morning, our own Jesse Irwin joins us live from the PSU Veterans Memorial, where he's joined by Captain Eric Leon. Jesse?
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, we are here this morning with Captain Eric Leon, and you are an assistant professor of military science. Can you explain what that means? Because I know you're involved with the ROTC program, but what does it mean to be an assistant professor of military science?
So, just like any professor here at the university, I am teaching cadets, martial students, to basically enter the military as commissioned officers, as compared to the enlisted side of the military.
And what does that take to be in the military? What are you looking for?
It takes a lot. I mean, we're looking at integrity, character. We're looking at a whole human here in regards to not just academics, but is this person willing to go all the way in service of the nation, and protect others and to lead others, or men and women of this nation. So it's a whole encompassing approach of teaching and developing and guiding individuals.
So you're not just looking for skill sets, you're looking for potential.
Definitely, yes.
Right.
I see that a lot of my own evaluations when we evaluate others as well. We're looking for that potential. We're not just looking at where this person is currently, but where he's going to be in the next 5, 10, 20 years from now.
When you speak with other veterans, I know you've served for how many years now?
18 years now.
18 years. So you've learned a lot in terms of not just introducing students and kids to the military, but also working alongside people and then meeting veterans who are older than you. So what do you sort of notice are the themes in terms of personality, in terms of just overall mindset when it comes to a veteran?
To a veteran, persistence, I would say. For those who stay in, persistence and adaptability. I mean, things change throughout the years. I mean, I'm not the same person I was a decade ago, 2 decades ago. So it's really just about enduring the hardships that it is, to actually serve this nation, not just here in the United States, which I love working at this university, but, finding yourself in Iraq or Afghanistan. Just plowing through that hardship and then coming back to the States.
What would you say Veterans Day means to you in comparison to other days of the year?
It's changed over the years for me. So this year actually marks the time in my life in which I've spent more than half of my life actually serving, being an actual veteran. So really, just like in many of the other holidays, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, just a day of remembrance, just to thank the veterans. So really, I treat it as any other day. Really, a word of advice I would give to everyone else who has a veteran in their life or knows someone, just a simple thanks would do for us.
Fantastic. Captain, we really appreciate you joining us this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're happy to have you here, especially here at the Veterans Memorial in Pittsburgh, where, Liam, you can just show them. This is one of the most beautiful places in southeast Kansas you can come to, and especially on Veterans Day, I think it's a great spot for us to be this morning. So, Captain, thank you again, and we're going to be here all morning long, so Michael will send it back to you, and we'll catch up with you in a little bit.
Jesse, thank you very much, and tell Captain Leon that we greatly appreciate his time this early in the morning, and tell him that we all say thank you for his service as well. All right, we're going to be right back, but first, a word of veteran thanks from Northeast Vernon County students.
I would like to thank veterans for allowing me to live a peaceful life where I am allowed to chase my dreams and be what I want to be in the future. I would also like to thank them for allowing me to see my family every day and wake up with seeing them. I would also like to thank them for keeping our flag flying high and allowing us to live with our freedoms and the liberties that we've been given.
Topping Health Watch this morning. Yesterday, Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt did not announce any new statewide COVID-19 restrictions. However, looking back to when restrictions were first implemented earlier this year, the numbers were actually much better than they are today. Stormy Jones has the latest.
33 weeks ago, Governor Kevin Stitt issued a statewide safer-at-home order
restricting any gatherings of 10 or more people. All non-essential businesses must close, a 14-day suspension of all elective surgeries.
Today, the governor tells reporters he doesn't think a mask mandate or any other previous statewide orders are necessary.
We want to be very, very cautious with those extreme measures. I think we've kind of taken our foot off the gas a little bit, and I'm encouraging Oklahomans to really take this seriously at this point. I need their help.
On March 24th, 106 Oklahomans had tested positive since the pandemic began.
I want Oklahomans to know that we are not standing by idle.
In just the past 24 hours alone, 106 Oklahomans tested positive every hour and a half. While COVID treatments have improved, record numbers of Oklahomans continue to be hospitalized. When the order was issued, 25 Oklahomans were in the hospital.
By acting early, we're going to flatten that curve.
As of Monday, 1,038 people were currently hospitalized, more than 42 times the patients March 24th. On that day, 3 Oklahomans had lost their lives to COVID-19.
Thoughts and prayers are with that family.
As of today, more than 1,400 people have died.
Now, Governor Stitt said he did not want to reimpose restrictions. He did remind Oklahomans to wash their hands, watch their distance, and wear a mask. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
A Skywatch storm tracker with freeze warnings for northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas, those lasting until 9 a.m. as even if your county's not in purple, it's chilly on this Veterans Day morning. Temperatures ranging from the mid-20s all the way into the low 30s. Now, sunrise will help us out here. It'll officially be here in about 22 minutes, and then we'll get into the 50s by the noon hour, high 50s later on this afternoon, though a 60 up every now and then Thursday will be delightful as well. Thunderstorm activity Friday night into Saturday. Back right after a thank you from Northeast Vernon County.
Thank you, veterans, for serving our country and giving us freedom.
Why the Joplin Health Department is having trouble with contact tracing. Plus, what you need to know about spring enrollment for the Joplin School District. And it's Veterans Day, how the 4 states are honoring our nation's heroes.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach. Coming up this half hour, the latest on the post-election battle for the White House. And something to talk about on the KOAM News Now Facebook page. We're asking if there's a veteran in your life who you'd like to recognize. You can also participate in our Insta Poll. Just visit KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. But first, a check on your forecast.
Yeah, it got a little too light to get a good picture of Mercury and Venus, so we just turned the camera south over our satellite arrays, where it's a gorgeous yet chilly Veterans Day morning from the Freeman Health System Sky Camera in Joplin. Just a skosh above the freezing mark and a wind chill of only 28. 28 in Pittsburgh, as well as Nevada, 32 in Monette, 29 in Independence, and freeze warnings in northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas until 9 a.m. Clean Skywatch storm tracker, a whole lot of sunshine after sunrise coming up here at 6:49, so we're getting a little bit closer to a nice little bump in temperatures that'll not enough to overcome the cold front early, but at least get us into the 50s around the noon hour and then high 50s, low 60s for a gorgeous Veterans Day afternoon. And then a little bit warmer there tomorrow, and luckily this will be the last time this week that we have to fight getting close to the freezing mark.
Can't complain there. Yeah, we need the rain, but I'm going to enjoy the sunny weather.
Yeah, ended up with 6/10 of an inch at Joplin Regional yesterday.
Yep.
Take it.
We'll take
it. Take it.
All right, thanks, Michael. Well, the COVID tracking project says Missouri has seen a 12.9% increase in COVID-19 cases over the past 7 days. Joplin has had 548 new cases in the last 14 days. 293 of those cases are current. Joplin Health Department officials say as cases continue to climb, they're finding it harder to contact trace and to quickly notify contacts. They're trying to reduce a backlog of cases.
As cases continue to climb, it makes it more and more challenging to get those investigated on the same day.
Talkin added that patients typically know of their positive COVID test before it reaches the Joplin Health Department. Joplin School District announces it's opening spring enrollment for online and in-person classes. KOAM's Chris Warner spoke with district officials about what you need to know and with one parent on why he's changing direction for his kids.
Sarah Mwangi with Joplin Schools says enrollment started Monday for virtual learning, and so far 300 kids have been signed back up out of the 1,400 currently on the virtual option.
So the numbers are very preliminary, but what I'm noticing is a lot of current virtual students who are electing to stay virtual second semester. So I am seeing a lot of that.
With recent rises in local COVID cases, the district says having this enrollment window is vital to ensuring that they have everyone in place in January.
So really we have to wait and see what those enrollment numbers do. If our virtual enrollment spikes, we're going to have to make sure we support that appropriately. If we have a lot of students who want to come back, we're going to have to make sure that we support the classroom appropriately too.
Joshua Shackles has 2 high school age students at home.
My youngest child is doing fantastic with the homeschool portion, but really misses the interaction from other students and teachers.
He says the virtual learning has its advantages and challenges.
So it's nice that it's self-paced. They can work at their own progress speed, and that's fantastic. But it does require a lot of extra supervision on the part of us as parents to make sure that they're accomplishing those goals in a timely manner.
So when the enrollment period opened up, he sat down with his boys and asked them what they wanted to do.
For each child, it was their decision. They really miss that in-person aspect, the ability to walk up to the front of the room and ask a teacher, hey, what do I do about this? How do I handle this?
The enrollment period is open from now until November 30th. Mwangi says if you're enrolled in virtual learning and want to continue virtual learning, you must re-enroll online. In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Mwangi says virtual learning is something the district will continue to offer even after COVID. We've placed a link to the enrollment form on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. COVID-19 is altering the way many veterans events are being held this year. Our own Jesse Irwin is at the Pitt State Veterans Memorial this morning, where the annual Veterans Day program is preparing to kick off. He joins us live with a preview. Jesse?
Good morning, Tanya. Yeah, we are here at the Veterans Memorial. It is beautiful as the sun is coming up here. And, I want to talk to you quickly about what's happening this morning at 11 a.m. It's going to be virtual in terms of how PSU celebrates and honors veterans today on Veterans Day. But here's how it's going to look. It's actually going to be really cool. They have a special that they've put together where they're going to be highlighting different veterans from different wars and military branches. You can catch all of it online in a number of different ways. You can see it on your screen at pittstate.tv, on YouTube, the PSU Veterans Memorial Facebook page, or if you're able to get one of the college's channels, CAPS 13, you can check it out there as well. And this morning we're actually fortunate enough to be joined by Captain Eric Leon, who's with the ROTC unit here at PSU, and you and I were talking earlier about what it takes to be in the military. Sure. So when you walk down this wall, right, this is a replica of the Vietnam Memorial. Correct, yeah. I mean, you see so many names. Like these names, what does it mean to you to be able to walk down and see names of people who were just as devoted as you were?
First I want to speak on the memorial itself.
Yeah.
Just it being here in Pittsburgh, Kansas. I've been around the world, including the United States. It's kind of hard to how do you say, when it comes to the actual memorial, it'd be hard to find this somewhere anywhere else besides Washington, D.C. It's fantastic. For the names itself, it really just speaks to all the individuals that have come before me, served before me, and just continue on that tradition of serving this nation.
Do you find it really motivating to be able to bring your new recruits out here and show them a place like this and say, this is what it means?
I've actually done that more than once. My classes are right here at the Rec Center, so I've actually brought them out here so that they can reflect on what it is to serve, and when they're going to find themselves in a couple of years actually serving either the United States or overseas. So I'm glad this is here.
It's a really special place. We really appreciate you joining us here this morning and talking to us about this. We're going to be here all morning long, and there's a lot of really cool features and facts about this memorial that you might not know. So on Fox 14 at 7 o'clock, we're going to actually be hanging out with some folks who are very much involved in making sure this place is as beautiful as it is right now all year round. So we'll have that over on Fox 14. We'll toss it back to you, Tanya.
All right, thanks, Jesse. We'll be checking back up with you a little bit later in the show. The Joplin High School Junior ROTC Battalion presented the American flag and decorated the graves of more than a dozen veterans buried at Peace Church Cemetery. Other people were encouraged to stop by and talk with the cadets and honor these veterans.
Basically, we're a free nation because of our vets, and what better way to honor our veterans than to have those up and coming, which is our Joplin ROTC group coming and putting a flag out for each vet.
The cadets honored veterans at Peace Church Cemetery who served in the Civil War, Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, and in Korea. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, lawmakers react to the election.
Most congressional Republicans have refused to acknowledge Joe Biden as the country's new president-elect. I'm Deborah Alford in Washington with reaction and what's next.
Plus, is there a veteran in your life who you would like to recognize? We're going to let you weigh in our Something to Talk About, but first, it's 6:37.
After a chilly start, we'll finally get some sunshine and be able to make it up into the high 50s later on this afternoon. And the nice thing is as we dip into early Thursday morning, we'll be able to avoid the freezing point that we've seen on this Veterans Day morning. Speaking of Veterans Day, more KOAM morning news, but first, a thank you from the students of Northeast Vernon County High.
Thank you, veterans, for the sacrifices you've made to allow us to live in a free country.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, President-elect Joe Biden is confident Republicans will start embracing him as the winner of the election. But many high-ranking Republicans are holding back as President Trump continues to launch legal challenges. Deborah Alfarone is in Washington with details.
President-elect Joe Biden is preparing to take office despite President Trump's refusal to concede.
I just think it's an embarrassment. I think it will not help the president's legacy.
Speaking to reporters in Delaware, Mr. Biden says he hopes to announce his cabinet picks this month.
We're going to do exactly what we'd be doing if he had conceded and said we've won, which we have. And so there's nothing really changing.
The Trump administration is blocking the Biden team from accessing federal agencies as well as funding needed for the transition. President Trump continues to claim widespread voter fraud despite providing no evidence.
Mr. Vice President, is it time to concede? Is there really any evidence of fraud?
Many congressional Republicans have refused to acknowledge the results.
The president wasn't defeated by huge numbers. In fact, he may not have been defeated at all.
But in the closest races of the election, Georgia and Arizona, the president trails Mr. Biden by more than 12,000 votes in both.
Wildly inappropriate.
Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker is one of the few Republicans speaking out.
And what this president is doing at this point in time is not in the best interest of this country.
President Trump hasn't made any official public appearances since last Thursday. Today, he's expected to lay a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
Now, President-elect Biden has been receiving congratulatory calls from world leaders without the help of the State Department. Yesterday, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said he was looking forward to a smooth transition to a second Trump term, but later walked those comments back. And that's a look at today's top national stories. Let's check back in with Michael with our Morning Talker.
Let's get to honoring veterans today, and we've got a wonderful arrangement of pictures and thank yous that we've been getting from all of you, and we greatly appreciate your engagement. Kelly Greenwood Fowler with a marvelous picture right there. Jojo Jacqueline Sullivan, this is Joe Sullivan, her husband, served in the mid-'80s. Brandon Charbonneau, a wonderful picture as well. Thank you, Brandon. Scott Fagan, that is his son, Blaze Fagan, United States Army, 2008-2014. Angie Modlin, that's a son and daughter-in-law who both served, Joshua and Alyssa Modlin. Marvelous. Cecilia Ballard, that is a picture of her father, Specialist Douglas Wayne Combs, who served in Desert Storm. Shante Cervantes Sanchez, that's her mom, Lisa Wickwire. Shante says, thank you, Mom, for your service, and thank you all the past, current, and future service people. Brandon Charbonneau, a picture of his son, Charles. Lisa Ann Jenkins Foster, that's her daughter who served for 4 years in the United States Navy. Marvelous family picture. That's from Craig Stokes, a gentleman that served as a member of the Mulberry VFW, I believe, there, according to this hat. And I was waiting for this one. I was waiting. Laura Clip-Honride. Thank you, Laura, for chiming in right there. That's her husband, Craig, there on the right. And she, she's honoring her husband. That's Laura on the left. That's right, a United States Marine Corps family. That is awesome, and thank you, Laura, for saying that, and thank you to the Wrights, and thank you to all of you who have served. We'll be back, celebrate birthdays and anniversaries next.
I want to thank all veterans for making the place I live a better place, and I want to thank my dad for making America a better place.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, John Mccall, who served in the United States Army in 1945 and 1946. During World War II, he fought in Okinawa in the 105th Infantry Regiment, his hometown, Wyandotte, Oklahoma. We are proud to salute John Mccall, our four-state hero, who also happens to be celebrating his 102nd birthday today. Wow.
How
Down
great
in
is
Wyandotte.
That is just
John
phenomenal.
Mccall, happy 102. Keep
Happy
going strong.
birthday, Mr. McCall. I want everybody in Wyandotte practice social distancing. Stop by and just honk your horn for Mr. McCall's service and wish him a happy 102nd birthday. Thank you from all of us, and happy birthday, Mr. McCall. Now, sharing a birthday with a four-state military legend is a youngster, Lola Swanwick. Miss Lola, she is turning 4 in Carl Junction, and a happy birthday, Lola, from Nana and Papa.
We got big birthday wishes coming from Mommy, Daddy, Grandma, and Papa Craig, and Old Papa and Sissy out in Yates
Hail,
Center.
the gang's all here.
Yep, in Yates Center, Colton Wiley turning 5 years old. Keep blowing those bubbles, Spider-Man.
I'll tell you what, CJ's jumping with birthdays. Elsie Dooley, that's probably from last year there, because 6, she's probably conquering elementary school, moving up in the world now.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, happy 6th birthday to Elsie.
All right, turning 10 this
Chloe.
year, it's Chloe Harriman. Happy birthday, Chloe.
Happy birthday, Chloe. Osiris Fowler. Got birthday wishes from Nana and Papa right there. Hey, nice looking pumpkin, Osiris. Put some work into that one, kiddo. He's turning 11.
Yep. Missed our jack-o'-lantern contest this year. Always used to do pretty good in that. Anyway, Morgan Hunter turning 15 years old in Humboldt. Happy birthday, Morgan.
Phoebe Swartz, she's celebrating her 15th birthday as well. Phoebe, I want you to have a marvelous day. She celebrates in Neodesha.
Up in Buffalo, Kansas, turning 17. It's time to celebrate for Sapphire Soles. Happy birthday.
Good picture. Cole Richard turning 18 right there. That's a little Northeast Viking pride. I like that picture. Happy birthday, Cole.
All right. Katie Jo Thomas turning 22 years old this year. Katie Jo is in Columbus.
In Carthage, a happy 29th birthday to Kayla Meister. Looks like we're going to turn back the clock a little bit. Happy birthday, Kayla.
All right, and we got Mandy Irwin celebrating the big 3-0 this year. Happy birthday to Mandy in Parsons.
Little birthday wish to Melissa Page comes from her sister. Happy birthday, Miss Melissa in Girard.
And Tasha Thurman turning 41 this year. Looking great there, Tasha in Erie.
And Jamie Ridenour, a pair of 4s on the board. Jamie celebrating in Pittsburgh.
Brian Wyrick turning 53 years old this year. Brian is in Joplin.
Run out to La Russell, where Mark Johnson is celebrating his 57th birthday.
All right. And in Thayer, Kansas, turning 64, it's time to celebrate for Carol Pack.
I know a lot of people in Chanute probably were taught by Mr. Frank Meisch. As Frank celebrates his 80th birthday, the retired school teacher. Happy birthday, Mr. Meisch.
All right. Hey, it's Mom. It's Anita Berger, turning 67 years old in Pittsburgh. Hope you have a great one, Anita. Teresa Lacey is celebrating, and Leanne Creek down in Miami.
Happy birthday and happy anniversary to all. Here's Tanya Bach with a very important birthday announcement.
That's right. You can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club by going to our website and signing up. Once you do, you'll get special deals from local businesses. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today. Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. More than a week after Election Day, President Trump is still refusing to concede the 2020 race for the White House. The president's legal team continues to pursue claims of widespread voter fraud in courts around the country. President-elect Joe Biden called that effort, quote, an embarrassment. Said the president's actions would not affect the transition. The COVID tracking project says Missouri has seen a 12.9% increase in COVID-19 cases over the past 7 days. Joplin has had 548 new cases in the last 14 days. Joplin Health Department officials say as cases continue to climb, they're finding it harder to contact trace and to quickly notify contacts. They're trying to reduce a backlog of cases. COVID-19 is changing the way many veteran events are being held this year. Students at Northeast Vernon County School came up with a new, safe way to show their appreciation for our nation's heroes, recording digital thank yous. Students also performed research on Veterans Day, putting together a special program they've shared online. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
After a chilly start, we'll get temperatures that'll go up about 25 to 30 degrees for this afternoon during our peak hours. That being said, remember, freeze warnings in effect until 9 for northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas. Luckily, overnight, we're able to avoid any of that freeze point as we head into the latter half of the week. Pretty nice tomorrow as well. Chance for rain kicks in Friday night, carries us into Saturday, clear that off Saturday afternoon, and then stay in the 60s over the weekend as well.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making a barbecue one-pot chili in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Of course, your morning news continues on KOAM. CBS Morning News coming up next.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues, and that's where we find our own Jesse Irvin.
Why don't you come on into our living room?
Back up from the camera a bit there, Jesse.
Yeah.
There we go.
Did you say back up from the camera?
What do you got for us?
Yeah, no, we were hanging out here this morning at the Veterans Memorial, and Tanya and Michael, this is really one of my favorite places in the four-state area. It's a place to come here, reflect, take in the morning, and of course it's Veterans Day, so we're going to be honoring our veterans all morning long and learn some cool little facts and features of what makes this place so special. So we'll have that over on Fox 14, 7 o'clock.
All right, Jesse, look forward to it, and that wraps it up for this edition of the KOAM Morning News. I want you to have a great, safe Veterans Day. A special thanks from all of us here at KOAM to those heroes who have served our country.
Yes, thank you very much, veterans. We'll see you again today at noon.